is a youth-run organization that aims to promote the awareness of writing in Cambodia. Writing Lion is the youth-run organization where we want to create platforms for youth in Cambodia to improve the quality of their writing and to get their work recognized. But I'm not presenting here as Writing Lion, as someone from Writing Lion, or as an organization. I'm standing here as me. I'm standing here talking about something I believe. I'm standing here as someone who loves writing. I'm standing here and I'm going to persuade you today that why your story matters, why everyone here today need to go back home and share their story. Okay, let's begin. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you believe that everybody has a story? Yeah. Everybody has a story. Each of every speaker that came out here today, Calvin, she has a story. She has a cause. She wants to promote sexism, not promote, sorry. She wants to eliminate sexism. Mr. T, he wants to promote, he wants to change, reform the cultures of political discussion in Cambodia. We all have a course. Yeah, we have coffee. We all have a course, each and every one of us. And I believe we have within us a story that is unique. So you may have, we may have this one encounterment that leaves us with very, very strong feeling. We may have this belief, this opinion that we're wondering why is nobody talking about it yet. We might be having this philosophy, this belief. We might be having this challenge that we overcome. We might be having this specialized knowledge that no one seems to be sharing it yet. Now, at some point of our life, we may be having similar problems, right? I mean, you may be having problems in college. It's similar problems. But the way you interpret the problem, the way you react, your perception, your interpretations of the story will always be different. So I can say that we can all agree this evening that everyone has a story. Yeah? Everyone has a story. Okay. So, today's presentation is all about your story. Today's presentation is all about me telling you why your story matters and why you should not keep the story to yourself, why the world needs your story. Alright? Okay. So, go back. So, do you believe that everyone is curious?
Yes.
More or less. Alright, take my mom for example. My mom is, I'm not ashamed to say, my mom is the most illiterate person in the world. She did not get educated. She did not attend school. She doesn't know how to spell. But she is very curious, I'm telling you. So she could go out to the street and she could meet a stranger and she would ask every single last detail about that person. She would ask about how many sister brothers you had, how many children you make, what does your parents do. So she could find out about that person in 5 minutes than the strangest friend could in 5 years. So I'm telling you, she's very, very curious. She's illiterate. Even the laziest student say that, I'm not interested in learning. I hate learning. But it's not true. They don't hate learning. Here's what they hate the structured process of learning. But deep down inside, they are curious. You know, if you throw them a great story, if you tell them the topic that they're interested and they want to invest in, they will listen, you know. Even they claim that they hate it, but deep down inside, we're all are curious. So if you ask me why should we share a story, I'll tell you that the people are thirsty for knowledge. That's really big reason to share a story if you ask me, because most of the time we want to share a story but the thing people may not want to hear. But I'm telling you today that we are hungry for knowledge. We are hungry for new story, everything that we can get our hands on. Now, so again, why does the story matter? Number one, your story matters because when you share your story, it can inform. Now take for example, we're living in a democratic country, right? But do you think that all people actually understand what democracy is? So, if you're someone who knows what democracy is, if you're someone who has specialized knowledge about democracy and you share it, you actually help your people to be more informed and be more educated. And when your people are informed and educated, they tend to make better decisions, promote better society. Right? That's a good reason. Second reason, your story can inspire action and change. Now there's a saying that pressure builds diamonds. You heard that? My saying is that pressure builds productivity. Have you ever procrastinated on certain tasks, maybe your schoolwork, but you end up being more efficient at what you're doing? So my proposition today here is that if you have a worry, you have a concern, you have a solution to a problem and you address it, it puts pressure on the involved party that is creating the problems. It puts pressure on the person who is working on concealing the problem. All right? Take for forest, for example. So when Bong Xian addressed the problem of forest logging, deforestation, so people is actually, so people are logging the forest? Oh my God, I have no idea. So the problems was being uncovered. Now everyone knows that we're losing forests. So therefore, the involved party, the person who's cutting the tree, government cannot try to pretend that we don't have a problem. So when you share the story, you actually inspire action, motivate action to take place. I like that picture. Yeah, you're giving your praise to somebody else. So the third reason to which you should share the story is that you could enrich life of other people through your story. You could enrich other people cognitively, spiritually, and creatively. When you share a story to someone, first of all, you can inspire and enrich them spiritually. Now, have you ever read a book that you really, really love, and after finishing reading it, you're like, oh my God, the world has so much light. You know, have you ever had that moment?
Yeah.
So your story could do the same thing to other people the way the author does to you. Okay? So you enrich them spiritually. Second, you could enrich them cognitively. So when people listen to your story, when you share a story, it activates their thinking, activate their thinking capacity. So they were thinking, they were reflecting. So when you share your story, it helps the people to improve, to train and practice the cognitive skill. And finally, when you share your story, it could help them creatively. When a lot of information are being presented, it helps a person make more informed decisions. So you may have one solution to some problem, to something. So when you share it, and then the person read it, the person may actually be inspired and actually could develop an even better solution from what you have proposed. So one saying is that story could be anything. It doesn't just need to be a challenge or struggle. It could be your perception, it could be your specialized knowledge, it could be your belief, it could be your opinion, it could be one time you walk down the street and you met someone, it could be anything. So the question remains here is that how should we share our story, given that we have a story to tell? So folks, if you have a story, let me ask for your preference. What would you want to do? How would you want to share? Facebook?
No.
Laughing?
Love.
Sorry?
Love.
Loving?
It's loving.
Oh, okay. Action? Okay. So,
Not like love, I said love.
all right. There are two ways in which you share something. You could either share your story through speeches or through written forms of language. So the inventions of language has these two fundamental elements. It is either talking or it's either writing about it. But in my second part of my presentation today, I'm going to tell you why you should write. Why writing is special. Why writing is cooler than talking. Alright? So writing is special because it has, in comparison to speeches, because it has two awesome qualities. First, it has business functions property. Second, it has it could, wait a second. I have a lot. Never mind, let's go with that. I see it in my slide. Alright, so when you talk to somebody, when you share a story with speeches, your audience and you have to be presented, am I right? I mean, you gotta be there. You gotta be at the moment, at the place, in order for the story to be passable to be shared. But when you write, your writing, more documentations of your writing could be spread across geographical location, across boundary of times, meaning that one piece of writing could be shared to many, many people at many, many different places, at many, many different times. Unlike your speeches. Not too many debate me, I can record my speeches, so you can debate me afterward, but I'm telling you, writing is special like that. Writing lives across generations, writing lives across boundaries of spaces. The second reason to which writing is cool is that it empowers truth through its accuracy and reliability. Now when you write something, the writer has more time to clarify, to develop, to add supporting detail, to find good support for their pieces of writing. So because of this matter, writing is generally more accurate and more reliable, therefore improving the believability of your idea and your propositions. If you share your idea, your story through speeches, you are prone to memory loss. I mean, you're bound to forget certain detail. And I think we can all agree that when you share so much detail in your speech, you tend to bore people. It doesn't happen the same way when you write about detail. You can throw all the detail as accurately good in your writing. You know, your reader can doze off, but it's rude to doze off when you actually talk. So, these are the two reasons of which I believe writing is so cool. Writing can go across spaces and time, and writing promotes the livability of your story. Alright? So, okay. So, now that I've talked about why your story is good, your story could inform, could enrich life, could enrich people, could inspire action and change, and that after I recommend writing, the question remains for you today is, what is your story? What is the encounter that you felt so strong and you want to share? What is the experience, the belief, the opinion, the specialized knowledge that you want to share? So the question remains, so what's your story? I can't answer that question for you. That would be the question that you will have to think about today. But let me just say this as to close my presentation. If you have a story, if you have a belief, opinion, if you have a field knowledge, if you have a solution, a concern, or worries, please don't give it to yourself. Pick up a pen and put it down on paper. You can either choose to let your idea die with you, or you can let your idea leave even if your body perishes. So, thank you.
That's strong. All right. share my story. I also have a story. I am a story of angry kids. I'm a story of a really naughty kids. And I have a story of being so angry I have to go to the jungle and meditate for 10 days with a monk.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious, darling. So I have my story. So what's your story? Don't go to the jungle and meditate like me because it sucks.
Write it down.
I wrote it down many times.
Share.
They think I'm crazy.
Keep it to yourself.
Keep it to myself. Any question? Yes?
I understand what you are proposing and so on and so forth. The thing is, before you get too excited about one story, one should always stop up and ask, are you willing to take the consequences of what you write?
Okay?
Look at the Bible, many people lose their life because of that book. Salman Rushdie, he was in hiding for I don't know how many years. Somebody made a little cartoon about a fellow called Muhammad. They're still in police protection.
Right.
After we at least wanted to kill a bunch of them.
All right.
So it's great to have a story and it's great to write, but always start
So,
up and sing.
new motto from your name.
Flemish, Dutch, from Belgium.
So a new motto from Flemish is that if you have a story, share it, but be safe as well.
Think about the consequence.
Right? Is that a question? Thank you for your comment. I appreciate it.
Does putting a lie in writing make it a half truth?
Sorry?
Does putting a lie in writing make it a half truth?
Make it a half truth?
Yeah, yes.
Well, that's a very deep question. It's putting right on writing, on writing something is a half truth. I'm not ashamed to say that I need some time to think about this question. You know, I probably need a month, perhaps. So, Mr. George. So probably drop me your email. I'm thinking of it. All right. So I'll get back home with this question. You know. I thought I come here and get you to think about something else. You know, I come here and get something to think about. So thank you for your question. I'm sorry that I didn't answer.
Just to answer his comment, respond to his comment about if you write, we have to be careful. Indeed, I must agree. But one of the best ways to write and be very safe is to write and glorify the sense of kindness more than write to tell people what to do.
Very nice, Kim.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're great, darling. All right, any more questions?
Yes.
Okay, so I have one question to ask you.
Yes.
So, as you said that if we have any opinion on Kimsoung, so actually we should write. And I want to ask about writing a lion. So, what kind of story that have you been writing and share to among young people in Cambodia up to now? Yeah?
So writing have been collecting probably over 100 articles. So these articles are all from youth around Cambodia. So they write about all kinds of things. So we actually have a website that you could visit, writingalliance.net. Over here, writingalliance.net. Sorry, I cannot see. So the story that we receive include some opinions. You know, some people talk about policy and stuff, but mainly we encourage creative writing as well. So they write about their experience, their tips, how to poem, some short story you can find on writingline.net. So these what we collect We don't care about the themes, but we care that it comes from you.
I'm really amazed by personality of words from the.
Okay, I have one question. You said that whatever we want is a story, we need to write it out. So my question to you, whether how could be a normal writing can be an important writing? If you say that whatever we think we can write it, so the question how we come to disseminate the normal writing or a simple story to become an important story or whatever, how do you classify or categorize it? If you say that all the story is important, but for me, I don't think all are important, but to some extent it will be important to a certain extent. So can you clarify how you say it?
So I have this one friend, she's an author, and she was a journalist. And I asked her, no, she's not a journalist, she's a professor at US. She teaches at US and she also a writer, she published books. And I asked her, do we need to know how to write in order to write? And she said that, I don't know. And then she asked me one question. Are you passionate about writing? And I said, yeah, why not? And she said that as long as you are so passionate, as long as you are committed, as long as you really love writing, I think that's all what it takes for you to write something. Now when I say that you share a story, I think that you can agree that we don't just share any story. We have a story that you feel very, very strong. Now that's the story I want you to put out there. Not just how many selfies you took today, but what happened and how it impacted you. That one particular story that only you see it in the same way, in one way that nobody else sees. Thank you.
Alright guys, show some respect to no more question, isn't it? Okay, please.
Where were the writers of the world when the Khmer Rouge was in charge?
Where were the writer?
Where were the writers of the world when the Khmer Rouge was in charge?
Was in charge.
What?
Was in charge, right? Well, I don't know where they were, but I know where they are now, you know? It's a little bit late, yeah? But, you know, that's a really good point. I mean, even though we don't have someone who presents at the moment when it happened, but we do have someone who talks about it now, even though it already happened. So I really appreciate it. It's a really strong example why you should share a story. I mean, if imagine, you know, if nobody writes about Khmer Rouge, I mean, one day it could end up not being history, but just a legend. You know, that's an extreme example why stories are meant to be shared as well. So good point. All right, thank you.
Well, now I wish to pass the time to the organization change.